It's Kdrama FANatics here, and welcome back to my channel. Episode 6 of Serendipity's Embrace starts with Hyun and Hongju making out as they confess their feelings for each other. Hyun takes Hongju on a date and asks her to eat up. Hongju is shy and awkward at first but feels reassured when Hyun reassures her. The two make it back to Seoul that night and Hyeop tries to get in touch with his nephew but Hyun ignores his calls. Outside the house, Hyun asks to take Hongju for dinner but decides to go meet Hyeop, who forces him to get inside the house. There, Hyeop grills Hyun about resigning from his job in the USA. But Hyun tells Hyeop that he is not going to return to the USA because he likes Hongju and refused to listen to his uncle. That night, Hyun's friends Joseph from back in the States call him. Joseph wonders why Hyun resigned and the latter blames it all on serendipity. He calls Hongju and asks to meet her, but the latter refuses, stating that she is already in bed. Hyun flirts with Hongju over the phone and the couple call it a night. The next day, Hyun tries to get breakfast with Hongju but learns that she was out on a girl date with Yeji. Yeji gets her hair permed for her hiking trip with Mr. Son and her dad the following day. Hongju gets influenced by Yeji and gets her hair permed too. That night, the two friends get together at Sangpil's restaurant. Sangpil is about to mention Hongju's contract with Junho in front of Yeji, but is stopped when Hongju attacks him. Hyun is upset as he waits for Hongju to reach out to him. Hongju shows up outside the house escorting a drunk Hyeop. Hyeop is upset with his ex and tries to talk to her over the phone. Hongju talks to the person on the other line, not knowing it is her boss, Hyeop. Hyun drops Hyeop home and rushes back to meet Hongju after not being able to see his girlfriend all day. He compliments her hairdo and asks her out on an official date the next day. The next morning, Hongju and Hyun get dressed for their date. Meanwhile, Mr. Kim tells Yeji that Mr. Son is unwell and will not be making it to the trek that day. Yeji tries to tell her dad about her feelings for Mr. Son, but her dad refuses to take her seriously. She is upset and has nothing to do, so Yeji decides to hang out with Hongju, interrupting her date with Hyun. Hyun sits hand in hand with Hongju at the cafe, which makes Yeji feel left out. Hyun suggests that Yeji visit Mr. Son. At that time, Mr. Son gets out of bed and tries to grab a bite. He finds the text from Yeji and wonders how to respond to her. Meanwhile, Junho shows up to meet his uncle, Mr. Kim, and is shocked to learn that Hyun used to be his student in high school. The two discuss Junho's breakup with Hongju. Mr. Kim asks Junho to leave Hongju alone after what he did to her all those years ago. Junho is upset by his uncle's reaction. Hongju and Hyun keep stealing glances at each other as the latter drives them to an art gallery. The couple chats in the car, flirting with each other. This continues in the art gallery and Hyun tells Hongju how his heart flutters every time she calls him by his name. He tells Hongju how he has liked her from high school and still like her until now.
강우영, 강우영. 야, 강우영!
CEO Baek interrupts their date and calls Hoo-young home due to an emergency. Hoo-young drops Hongju home and promises to meet her the following evening. Hoo-young meets his mother in her hotel room and has a hostile conversation with the woman. Hoo-young tells Dawson that he is not going to return to the USA with her, but the latter refuses to listen to him. At the same time, Hoo-young gets ready for her day of work at Junho's house. She is about to meet Hoo-young before work, but learns that he is not at home. She waits at the bus stop as she usually does while Hoo-young drives to the Rock's asset office with his mother. Dawson spots Hongju at the bus stop and recognizes her from the night she met 10 years ago. Meanwhile, Hongju worries if Hoo-young is doing okay. Hongju arrives at Junho's house and sits at the desk. Junho hopes to find a way to bring up his panic attacks and mental health issues with Hongju to explain his circumstances during their breakup. Hongju does not pay attention any of the clues Junho had laid out for her in the form of their memories together. Junho tries to insist on working with Hongju for longer, but the latter refuses and is about to go home when Junho collapses due to an anxiety attack. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.